Hey there guys, welcome back. Hope you're all doing well. This is Chetan here from Double Cube and I'm back again today with another tutorial, and this is going to be in Illustrator. And in today's tutorial we're going to be talking and learning about isometric design and creating isometric designs with actions in Illustrator. We got a lot to cover in this, a lot of cool techniques, tips, tricks, tools, so it's going to be pretty exciting. So without further ado, let's get started. Guys, so here I am in Illustrator, and this is what we're going to be creating. It's the final version. It's pretty simple, not complicated as you think. But before we get started, I would just want to talk about the piece of inspiration for this. So here I am on Instagram, and this is Brandon Gross, and he's a designer and a content creator. He even has a YouTube channel, and he makes a lot of these cool UI designs. And he also sometimes features a few of those done by other designers. So if you guys are really good at some of this, then just hit him up and he might feature you. So you know, he has a lot of cool, amazing stuff on his profile. And as you can see, he has 15,000 followers, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so we're gonna be recreating this one. So this piece over here, just this, not the entire UI itself. It's gonna be pretty fun. A lot of things to cover. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing is setting up a new document. So I'm going to be just using the same document, which is 1000 by 1000. I'm going to select all this and hold down shift and move them over to the right side. So the first thing is understanding what isometric design is. Now basically a 2D plane has two axes. So one is the x-axis and one is the y-axis. Now isometric design is a type of design, I wouldn't say a design, it's a type of geometry with three axes, but then it is two-dimensional. Now the three axes are x, y, and z axis. So x is left or right, y is the top and bottom, and the z is front and back. So when all these three are rotated and placed in such a way that it looks 3D, but it is on a 2D plane. So as you can see, this is a 2D plane, but it looks 3D. Yeah, so this kind of orientation is called as isometry. All right, so now there are two ways of creating isometric designs. One is to use grids and the other one is to not use grids. Now if you use grids, it's gonna take you a long time, but when you use grids, it's gonna be for a particular reason, so that maybe because you like it, or maybe it's easier for you, or maybe the client needs it in such a way, or maybe the design that you need to create needs to be done with the grids. But in this tutorial, I'm gonna be showing you guys how to do it with actions and not with the grids itself. All right, so the first thing is I have a new blank background. So if I go to my layers, I just have a background layer, and yeah, this is the color. It's just just a nice blue color. All right, so the first thing we want to do is create actions for each of these so that it increases our workflow of isometric design, because we're going to be using three different steps. One is the scale, one is the shear, and the other one is the rotation. So let me give you a small example. If I come here to my actions panel, if you don't have this, you can go to window and choose actions. It's going to open that up. You see I have let me open it up like so. All right, so you see I have a folder which says isometric actions, and then I have left, right, top, clockwise, and top counterclockwise. So let me just show you what an action does. And if you don't know what an action does, it's basically a set of instructions that you give Illustrator to perform every time you start the action, and it's going to go ahead and repeat the same process of all the steps that you predetermined to Illustrator and give you the result. For example, if I go ahead and grab a rectangle, and let's just put this to a red color. All right, oops, okay, we want to select our new layer. So let's clear a new layer on top, right? All right, you see this is what we have. Now if I come into my actions and I go to left and I just click on this button which says play, you see it's going to go ahead and create an isometric perspective for this. Now if I take this and I go to right and click on this, you see we're going to get this, and then you're going to get this, and if I go to the top counterclockwise, we can get this. So it's basically a set of instructions that I gave Illustrator to follow, and I'm going to show you how to create these actions from scratch. so don't worry. And all of them will be, all the information will be down below in the description. So you guys think I'm going too fast or you guys get confused, you can definitely go ahead and go to the description. For this tutorial, I'm going to be using only the left one because we're not going to be using anything on the right side or anything like that. We're going to be just using the left. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Now the first thing I want to do is go ahead and grab myself a rectangle. So I'm going to hold down Shift and create a rectangle like so, and give this a little bit of a rounding like so, and there we go. Perfect. I think this is too bright, so I'm going to probably reduce this to a gray color. Right, looking much better. So how do we create an action? So we come here and click on new action, and I'm just going to go call this a tutorial just for the purpose of the tutorial. And the set is basically the folder, and I'm just going to leave it in Isometric Actions, and the function key is basically the function key. So you don't have to come here and click on this every time. You can just click on the function keys and it's automatically going to apply the action. So I'm just going to set that to none, and the color is something you can choose on your own. If I set this to orange, and go ahead and click on record, as you can see we have a new action that's being created, and we have a stop button. So this is what you want to do for isometric actions. So we select the object. Okay, we're going to go here to the scale tool, double click, and we're going to come here and choose non-uniform. And the vertical is going to be 86.602%. You can click on this preview checkbox if you want to see how it looks. All right, there you go. And just go ahead and click on, you can even turn on scale corners if you want. But yeah, let's actually turn that on and go ahead and click on OK. So as you can see, the first step or the predetermined action has been defined by me. So the next thing we want to do is go to the shear tool, double click on that, and we're going to go and set the shear angle to -30. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and just click on OK. The next one is going to be our rotation. So double click on the rotation, and this is going to be -30 as well, and just go ahead and click on OK. So as you can see, we already have our perspective determined, and the shape is fitting to that perspective. And then if I just go ahead and click on this button, it says stop. This is what we get, and it's ready. Now, if you want this to be in the form of buttons, you can just go and choose button mode, and you can see we have the button. So let's take a real example and see how it works. So let's take an ellipse. I'm just drawing a circle. All right, and then all I have to do is just click on tutorial, and boom, there you go. It's done. All right, now if you want to reverse it, you would have to do Ctrl+Z 3 times, but then there is an option which I will include down below in the description. I'll also include a file where you can import, so you can just take the file and go to and choose load actions, and that's going to pop up over here, and it's going to be the reverse. So if I click on this and choose the reverse action, it's going to reverse it back to the initial state. Pretty much it. All right, so there we go. I'm going to go ahead and just delete this. Oops, go ahead to button, and just go delete this. All right, we don't need that anymore. All right, so that's how to create actions, and I'm going to be creating all these shapes and using the actions to fit it to this perspective, and there we go. All right, so let's start off. So the first one is going to be this one, this section that we have over here. Pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and select this and grab a color over here. All right. So this is the color, and we have a simple gradient right here. All right, now let's go to our gradient tool. So double click on the gradient tool, and as you can see, we have a gradient slider. I have a blue color selected, and the last blue and the last stop has a cyan color, this much, and then the opacity is set to 0. You can also go ahead and just manually go ahead and move these around and kind of play with this. All right, and there we go. I can move the center slider to get the exact position I need. Okay, I think this is looking pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and align this in the horizontal center and vertically center by clicking on these two buttons. We can close this up. So now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a line. So we get the line tool and just hold down Shift and create a horizontal line as big as you can. All right. We want to make sure that it has some color, obviously, or else we can't see it. So it has 1 pixel, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to the actions again and click on the left. All right, you click on it and click on the play button, and boom. Okay, all right. So I think this time we need to make it right. So let's click on the right and do that. Oops, sorry, play button. All right, there we go. It's right. So now this is going to be as our guide. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just use my arrow keys and just move them and put them into place like so, and hold on, select this, hold on Alt on my keyboard, hold on Shift, and then just drag it down and make sure that it touches this bottom part. All right, that's looking pretty good. All right, so this is going to be like our guide. All right, so awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, make a copy by pressing Ctrl C and Ctrl F on the keyboard. This is going to make a copy, and I'm just going to go ahead and use the eyedropper tool by pressing I on my keyboard, and I'm going to click on this, which is going to apply the color. So this is the color code if you guys are interested, and I'll go ahead and click on OK. All right, now this is in the front, but I want to move to the back, so I'm going to right click, go to Arrange, and choose Send to Back, and now that is at the back. All right, now I'm going to use my arrow keys and position them. So let's see how close it is. Okay, there's a thick gap, so I'm just going to use my arrow keys and move them out like so. Now what you want to make sure is that it touches our black line or grid. Right, there you go, it's touching it. Pretty good. So now as you can see, this looks like a solid piece of glass, but if you come over here, we can see that it's kind of not there. It's not a piece of glass that you can see. So so what we're going to do is we're going to go select these two objects, come into the Pathfinder. If you don't have the Pathfinder, again, you can go to Window and choose Pathfinder, and we're going to click on this button which says Divide. And what that's going to do is it's going to go ahead and cut up the object that you selected at places where they intersected. So if I right click and choose Ungroup, you can see we have four different pieces. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 different pieces. So you want to select this one and hold down Shift and just move that over to the left side once. And I'm going to select the one at the back and just delete that. And I'm going to select this and move that back into place. And then I'm going to select these two and come here and choose Unite. So now we have only two pieces, and this is the other piece. So the next one is going to be this thick part. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves a rectangle. All right, hold down Shift so we get a square actually. All right, and this time we're going to just go give it a little bit of rotation, roundness, not rotation, sorry. Pretty much like that. Maybe I think that's too much, so throw that in a little bit. Okay, and obviously we're going to come into the Actions, click on the left and play, and boom, there we go. There it is. Now I'm going to copy the gradient, so I'm going to press, with this object selected, I'm going to press I on my keyboard to get the eyedropper tool and just click on this, and that's going to apply the same gradient. But this time we want the gradient to come from this direction until here, right? Like so. And then we're going to go ahead and just place it in a place. I think this is pretty big, so I'm going to scale it down by holding on Shift and Alt, and we can just place it in places wherever we kind of want. And make sure this is at the back. So I'm going to go right click, Arrange, and choose Send to Back. All right. Now the reason it's not going back is because we are on the wrong layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, press Ctrl X, and come to this layer and press Ctrl F. All right. Pretty good. And I'm just going to lock this layer so we don't touch it. And right click, Arrange, and choose Send to Back, and boom, there we go. Now it is at the back, and you can see this amazing, this reflection because of the transparency. Looks really interesting and really nice. All right, so we're gonna create the 3D-ness for this one. So I'm gonna do is select this, press Ctrl C, Ctrl F, make a copy. But before we do that, we want to add in our other guys over here. So I'm gonna select this, hold on Alt, and just move them up. And make sure you go to Window, View, and you choose Smart Guide. So that's gonna help you out in positioning these objects perfectly. Awesome. Let's select this one. Hold on Alt and just Shift and bring that down so it's kind of touching. Move that up. Yep, there we go. That's looking much better. All right, so let's select this, make a copy by pressing Ctrl C, Ctrl F, and then move this over to the back. So right click, Arrange, and choose Send to Back. And we're going to be using this color again. There you go. So now we have something that looks like this. This isn't aligned properly, so I'm just going to go and nudge these up a little bit. All right. Yes, it is sitting perfectly. Great. But now again, if you go to our original, we don't see the back part being reflected on the front side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these two, go to Pathfinder, click on Divide, and then I'm just going to go and right click and choose Ungroup. Select this, hold down Shift and just move it up a couple of times, 3 times, remember. how many times you do it, because you want to bring it back to the same position by pressing the keyboard by pressing the key the same number of times. So I'm going to select this one, hit delete. So we have something else like this. I'm going to select this and hold down shift and 1, 2, 3, move that back into place. Select these two objects and click on unite, and boom, there we go. So we have only two objects now, 1 and 2. Awesome. As you can see this reflection, which is looking really nice. You can see through the glass, a pretty cool effect. So the next thing we need is this circle. So let's go and grab ourselves a circle. We just need an ellipse. All right, hold on shift and create a circle. And this time again, let's go to actions and select the left and click, and that's going to go ahead and just expand the shape for us. And we can shrink this down if we feel it's too big. All right, and I'm going to place it somewhere over here. Most of the times you kind of have to eyeball it, and you will end up doing it correctly. And right click, arrange, and choose send to back. All right, but we want to bring it front because we don't want it to be entirely at the back. So right click, arrange, bring forward. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and bring it out to the forward. Right, yeah, that is, let's see. All right, it's forward. So for this one, I'm gonna go and select this, press I on my keyboard, and click on this gradient, which is gonna apply the same gradient, but the direction of the gradient is gonna be from here to here. All right, as you can see, yeah, it kind of looks like a hole now. Okay, and we're gonna need this one as well. So I'm gonna select this one, make a copy by pressing Ctrl C, Ctrl F, and then just shrink this down pretty much. Oops, right, just pretty much shrink it down. And to give it a perspective and a deception feeling, not deception, I would say, a feeling of 3D, I'm just gonna go move it to the left and move it down, so we kind of feel that it is right in the front and not on this layer. All right, and this one, I'm just gonna go and change the color to this. We're gonna make it to like that, just a flat color. Layers, oops, sorry, not layer. We want to double click on the gradient tool, and we're gonna add in a solid color. Actually, I'm just gonna go and add a solid color. Right, I think that's a good color. Okay, so now we're gonna have to create these lines and these rectangles that go away, giving it the actual feeling of 3D and depth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just select the guide, hold down shift and alt to make a copy, and bring it down like so, and just place it right over there. Right, there you go. Let's select this one, hold down shift and alt, and move this up right here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select this anchor point and move this up over here. Right, somewhere over here. Okay, that's actually good. And this one, I'm gonna select this and do the same thing and bring it over here. Right, you can make it touch it, and yeah, that's pretty good. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select these two, right click and choose join. So now it kind of becomes a shape like so, and I'm gonna reverse it. So now we have a color. So now I'm going to go ahead and apply a gradient to this, and let's select it and then apply a gradient, right? And we're going to change this to a cyan color. Select this, come here and choose this to be cyan color, and the last one is also going to be a cyan color, and the opacity is going to be 0, and we're going to select the gradient tool and then just click and create the shape of our gradient like so. All right, now this looks pretty bad, but that's because it is in the back. It is in the front, so we got to set it to the back. But instead of sending it to the back, what I can do is I can actually select these two objects, come into the pathfinder and choose divide. And once I divide it, I can right click and choose not outline. Right click and choose ungroup. Perfect. So now we have this. So I'm just gonna move this over and I'll select the one at the back. Oh, I can actually select this one and delete. All right, so now you can see that you see the difference that I'm getting. Now this is a little too harsh, so what I can do is I can either send it to the back. All right, there you go, something like that. I can send it to the back, which I did. So you can use the control and the left square bracket key to send it to the back, and see wherever you think looks good. We can leave it right there. So yeah, that's looking pretty good, I must say. It looks really cool. All right, the last one is to add in the text, which is going to be fairly simple. So let's go and grab the text tool, and I'm going to go call in A11 Bionic, which is the chip used by the iPhone 10, and it applies to the text as well. Just select the text, go to Actions, and click on the play button, and boom, there you go. And this is going to be the same color as the back part, and you can just select it and move this over pretty much like so. And that's looking pretty good. Another thing that I wanted to show you is, let's say we have two rectangles. So this is rectangle 1, and I'm going to create another rectangle and rectangle 2. Let's change this to a red color. So as you can see, we have these two, and if I select these two, I can come into the actions and I can select it and apply that, and it's going to automatically select both of them and then perform the action. You don't have to go ahead and individually select all these elements. And another thing we can do is select all these. We can select the guides that we don't need. All right, and there we go. Now we want to cut off this part, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of this actually, and then just bring it over to the center before I do anything crazy, and then press Ctrl G to group them, and then make sure I have unlocked my background layer. Then we are going to go select all these 3 elements, go to my pathfinder. Oh, let's actually not go to the pathfinder. We can use the shape builder tool. Double click on the shape builder tool. Oh, you can just click on it once and hold down Alt on your keyboard. You can see a minus sign below the cursor, and what that means is everything you click is gonna get deleted. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just draw this. All right, and there we go, it's gone. I can select the background, go to layers, and just lock it again, and then I can select all these elements and press Ctrl G, and boom, there we go. So that's pretty much it on how to create isometric illustrations in Adobe Illustrator with actions. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you have any questions, or you somewhere you got caught up or you got confused, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I am completely active and I respond to all messages, all tweets, all DMs, and I'm ready to help you guys anytime you want. So thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So till then, take care and bye-bye.